August 2025 recommendations. Y'all, I'm so ready for fall. Novocaine! So this man has a condition where basically he can't feel anything. Pain, chewing, swallowing, nothing apparently. After his girl crush gets taken because of a bank robbery, he does his best to be an action hero in a very comedic way. Loved it. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Yeah, these movies are not really for my age group. They're for kids, but I think they're adorable and they are really fun. And Jim Carrey does play his part very well and do a lot with it. And as far as the games, I feel like they do stay true to the game somewhat. I mean, come on, it's a side scroll and there's only so much you can do with the game premise, and I feel like they're fine. Wicked. Took me forever to see this movie, but I genuinely enjoyed this. The Wizard of Oz is an amazing movie, and it's one of my favorite movies ever. So I know this isn't technically related. It's like what happens when your fan fiction gets really popular is basically what this movie is. That's kind of hilarious if you think about it like that. The music in here is amazing. So many ways, just a great musical. The set looks great, the casting is great, costumes look great. I just wish everything was a little more brightly colored. $1 million followers. The plot literally goes wild. So some influencers go to this island where they are really just there to be sold as sex slaves, and it's a wild concept. There's a little bit more to the plot than that, but that's pretty much the gist of it, and it kind of comes completely out of nowhere. Slightly. Kevin can F himself. So this show has a really good premise. It's kind of unique. So half is told like a colorful sitcom and the other is a gritty drama. And yes, Kevin is literally awful. Like, he's one of the most awful like characters I've seen in a minute. And he does get served, definitely. At the end of it, the way the series ends, he definitely does get his just desserts, as they would say. But the only hard part about this show is our protagonist that we have to follow. She is literally the stupidest person. We could have fixed everything way sooner if she had a little bit of common sense. Happy Gilmore 2. Honestly, I didn't expect this to be any good at all because most 20-year age gap sequels lose all the charm and drama and respect. But Adam Sandler literally did his thing. He called in all of his friends for the filming of this and all of the little cameos. It was very entertaining. Konosuba, God's Blessing on the Wonderful World Legend of Crimson. I completely forgot they had made this movie. To one of my favorite isekais. Is this my favorite isekai? No, but this is one of my favorites. And I had completely forgotten about it. And it's pretty fun. Megumin is being a cute cinnamon bun throughout this. So, upon watching that, Konosuba Season 3, so I watched the movie, then I realized I never finished Season 3. More or less never even started it. I kind of forgotten that it had been there. I'm so behind on so much anime. I'm behind on a lot of movies and shows, but I'm very, very behind on the anime. So I'm gonna make it my mission to watch as much anime as I can to try and catch up because I'm so far behind. Forensic. Half forensic science, half supernatural. It's pretty cool. Would recommend the watch. Premise is a little hard to follow, to be honest, but still think it's worth a watch. The Fantastic Four: First Steps. To be honest, I wanted this movie to be so good. I just didn't have high expectations because Marvel has like not been hitting it. And after I just watched Superman, I was like, my expectations are gonna be pretty high. And is this as good as Superman? Well, no. Is this the best Marvel movie ever? No. But it's a big step up from the last few movies that they've made. They put out some stinkers, so they went from meh movies to a solid film, and I can't wait for the new universe that they're building with this movie, basically. This one was a little bit of a slow burn. It very much centers on family, and I think it was cool. They kind of did what Superman did. They set up the Fantastic Four, because we all know who the Fantastic Four is. We both had those amazing movies in the 2000s of the first two. You know, And we know what they are, we know their story and everything, so they might as well set them up. And they set them up in like a futuristic 60s type vibe. I was digging it. I liked it. The aesthetics were hitting. Ted Bundy, Dialogue with the Devil. I've seen so many Ted Bundy documentaries in my time, but this one just dug a whole lot deeper. It was very unsettling. I would recommend it. Capturing the Killer, The Girls on the High Bridge. I'm going to just tell you right now that most of this list is going to be true crime documentaries because they released a lot of them this month and they are kind of my favorite thing. But anyway, after watching this story, I'm not sure if the guy that you said did it, to be honest. To be completely honest, I feel he did, but I don't know because they really had no evidence whatsoever in this case, and what they did do with it was just honestly on them. Small town cops, that's what happens. The Yogurt Shop Murders. This is really traumatic. It's a really traumatic case. Honestly, it seems so unjustified, and yeah. Final Destination Bloodlines. I actually really liked the premise of this. Basically saying that the movies, like all the movies before, were all connected because this one event happened in the 60s where all these people didn't die, so death was basically taking out people's bloodlines, and that's why it took forever to get all the way down to where we are today, which is with the family that we had, and that's why it took long to get through everyone. I think it's a cool idea. I feel like they didn't need to do that, but I didn't think they needed to do that, but it was a nice little extra step. Her last broadcast, the abduction of Judy Heisentit, I don't know if I said that right. The story is absolutely scary because it's just like, abduction is such a scary thing, especially when it's like at your job, or, oh, that's creepy. It's such a real life issue, so sad. It's still a cold case, I believe. The Stolen Girl. This story is definitely not what you're thinking it's going to be. Yeah, I thought it was just going to be an abduction show. Well, no, it's not. It's not going to go the way you think. The Inheritance. A family goes to their rich dad's mansion to try and protect their dad from someone trying to kill him. Turns out it's a demon he traded them all for so that he could live longer and be rich. So this movie also doesn't go the way you would think it would either. Skincare. Here's another movie that doesn't go the way you think it's gonna go. This movie's wild. Who knew they could make skincare and beauty influencers into a twisty drama? Secrets of the Celtic Grave. Celtic Ruins Discovery. Fit for TV, the reality of The Biggest Loser. I never watched The Biggest Loser show. Like, I knew of it, but that wasn't really something I wanted to watch in the 2000s. I was watching America's Next Top Model and Fear Factor. So that wasn't really on my radar, per se. And though it worked on some people, it's really a good way to ruin your metabolism. You have to be careful when you're newer and heavier with your weight loss. And if you do intense workouts, you can tell they weren't treated good, like just from the videos I saw, but also how they feel now. Amy Bradley is missing. Might be a controversial take, but I honestly think she fell asleep, fell overboard or something, but I don't know. It doesn't seem... It's a little fishy, but also all of the evidence is based on people seeing her that it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. Is it completely possible? Yes, but I think it was just an accident. A normal woman. This perfect woman develops a skin curse, basically. Copycat, starring Sigourney Weaver in this movie about a copycat killer and the pursuit to catch him. It's so well done. Her character is amazing to watch. It's just like kind of like the killer they're trying to catch in here. It was very interesting. Now for the meta section, Maid of Honor. When I tell you that you have no earthly idea what this plot is going to be, honestly, the plot makes no sense. Brick. A couple's apartment gets covered with a brick wall by magic or something. The Monkey. A comedic horror about an evil toy monkey that does Final Destination type deaths. It's okay for what it is. I didn't really like any of the characters, and I think they could have done something a little bit better. The deaths were like probably the main reason for the movie in this movie. The Sand. This is like a B-type cheesy horror film about an alien-like creature eating people on the beach. The writing for dialogue is pretty bad, but it's still a fun watch. The Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. The world around this demon lord coming back is a super talented kid, because of course he is. And he has every single fantasy element you could possibly think of in this story. Like, I don't even understand. Like, maybe because I watched it in English dub, I just felt like the writing wasn't great. The voice actors didn't seem like they cared. It's very much like a basic fantasy anime, yes, but the characters weren't intriguing enough, and there is so much going on in. I don't know how to explain this, but there is so much going on in the plot. Like, there's too much fantasy in this fantasy. Like, too much. Anything you can think of. Super, like, mythical healers, angels, vampires? Sure. Is it, like, cybernetic tech? Sure. Aliens, monsters? Yeah, like, it's anything you can think of is all in one. It's just a lot. And for the no section, censor. A woman censors movies for a living. I think it was like in the 70s or something, but then she ends up on a scary one. I don't know how to say this. Opus? I don't know. I was actually happy about this movie coming out. I remember wanting to go see it in theaters, and then I didn't make it, and I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been kind of upset. I've seen this exact plot done so much better before in Blink Twice. I just feel like they could have done something a little bit better here. It was done in like the most basic way possible. I don't like to say that. I don't like to pick on people's writings or anything like that. Like, that's definitely not my intent. But I've seen that plot done better. And of course, there's always someone better than you, yes. But I really enjoy their movies, so I just didn't expect that. Death of a Unicorn. This is another one I was actually excited to go see, and I didn't make it. I was so happy for it until I cut it on. Even Paul Rudd couldn't save this movie. It's, how do you make unicorns boring? I don't know. The movie dragged on, and it was just kind of a weird setting. I feel like they could have put this exact premise somewhere else to make it more interesting. I don't really know what they could have done differently here. Next month fall starts, and I'm so here for it.
Hadouken! Finish him!